Today I'm going to introduce you to the person behind most music on most of my videos. Welcome, Antti Luode.
Antti
The,
Luode. Yeah.
yes, Antti Luode.
Nice to
Uh,
be here. Nice to be here. And we were just talking with Kyle about how, it's a really, really long story with a lot of twists and turns, and it's been quite something, It's been quite something.
I feel like without you, I don't think I would be as far, even though I'm not that far. I don't think the videos would have been that good because for a long time I felt like I had original music when a lot of other content that I saw had pretty much the same kind of generic, uh, like a smooth R&B hip hop type. And you were able to create original content for me, and I feel ever so appreciative of that fact when we were able to kind of indirectly work together. And unfortunately, I haven't actually gotten a chance to meet you yet because I haven't gotten out of the Helsinki airport. I think Finland is usually ranked as one of the happiest countries in the world. Is
That
that
I
true?
don't always know. Is it true, or is it that people don't want to complain? Because a lot of Finns, especially if you have educated Finns, like a lot of them do end up going to America, like if you have a good education, because the truth, of course, is that I do believe America is, and I hate to say this on Finnish, but if you're a smart person with a lot of get up and go, then America is the best country in the world. But if you are like for the whole altogether, I think Finland is a really, really great place to be. But of course, America kind of vacuums all the talent of the world, because there's low taxes and you have the best pay. And I mean, 1 in 14 people is millionaire. You wouldn't believe it when you are, going around America. But yeah, I love America, but at the same time, I also love Finland, But
But I think that most Finnish people, that's not what they strive for. A lot of them are content. Most of them are probably content living in Finland, right? It's not like the dream to go to America. I mean, not during these days, of
I, I
course,
think
but
I think it's like the TV, and movies, and a lot of kids see that and they think America is a certain way. And I had the same thing, I was married 16 years to American, and when I first came to America, like I had these notions, I was thinking how America would be. I had seen Miami Vice and Dallas, and the next thing I know, I'm in Georgia, of all places, and this is not exactly the way I thought, I was like, but I think like my idea of America was a lot like LA, maybe, I don't know, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, but a lot of people, they love America, the way it's depicted on TV, but yes, most Finns absolutely love Finland too. Like the Finns are very patriotic. I had a taste of American system, and in American system, I had an MRI too, and they couldn't diagnose me there either. So both systems failed.
sorry to
But
hear that. But what exactly do you have, and what did they thought you have?
the story ties in with you because um, 2011, I had been sick for a really long time with the flu. I had a really bad flu for like half a year. Insane thing, like in 2010, I was in the best shape of my life. I was running by rollerbladers. I was running every single day. Like I'm a love sports, and had a great shape, and then we were actually in Florida in 2011 spring. And I remember I was walking to a car and I was out of breath. I was like, what the heck, and this thing went for a month. We came back to Finland, and then one day I had this feeling like suddenly my skin burst on fire. It was like it went from the tip of my toes to the top of my head. My whole skin was burning, and it was the most insane anxiety you can ever imagine. And I went to a doctor, to ER, and personally, I was thinking I'm dying. Like that was the feeling. I am dying. This is it. I have a tumor, and I went there, and I was given a like a Valium or something, opiate, and the feeling slowly started to go away. And because they didn't see me right away, I had to wait for 2 hours. The feeling started to subside, and then finally, I was diagnosed with anxiety disorder. But I didn't believe it. And but the reason why it ties in with you is that at the same time you sent me the message, which I completely ignored. You sent me a message. I'm gonna start using your music. I'm gonna make videos for Vietnam. But that started my whole thing back then. And it took me 9 years through the divorce and all this, and nobody believed me. And I did end up with seizures. I did end up with seizures in 2018 twice. But even then, they didn't still believe that the small ones I have, like I had a kind of like a little bit like anxiety attacks, but I felt this kind of like buzzing sensation, and I had a pretty strong feeling it's a seizure, and nobody believed me until we had the MRI in 2020 spring, and we found the cavernoma. Then I had like a video EEG in which I was 11 days at this facility, and I had these wires on my head, and they were looking at me with videos. And then I had a button I had to press when I get a seizure. And when I got the seizure, then they checked all the wires, data they had, and they could see that, yeah, it's due to the cavernoma. But basically in 2011, most likely, the cavernoma is it's like a slowly bleeding vein in my brain, and it probably bled to my brain when I had that feeling like I had fire on my skin, and it probably has been bleeding all this time. And it's kind of a funny thing. Here I am waiting for a surgery, and it's been a year pretty much from the diagnosis. But yeah, Corona has slowed everything down, and
Wait,
so
so I'm sorry. You have a vein that's bleeding in your brain?
yes, I have a vein that's bleeding in my brain on the right side here. It's a kind of a part of the brain that controls emotions, and it's funnily enough I make music. But that feeling that I had, that anxiety from hell, it was because I literally have the part of my brain that deals with emotions has a bleeding vein, and it has they say there's something like the ring of blood around it that's like slowly growing. And I've had multiple MRIs, and now they can see it's been growing, but because of the situation, it gets delayed and delayed, and
So they just thought initially that you had anxiety disorder and then epilepsy, so you would be getting seizures.
they didn't believe me. They didn't believe me that I had a seizures, and I didn't even want to believe it myself. But from the very beginning, I had a strong feeling that there's something wrong in my brain, neurologically wrong, and nobody believed it. I hate to say it, but nobody believed it. It was until I got 2018, I got a grand mal seizure, which seemed to be like out of the blue. And this was like I was in America. I was sitting on porch. Next thing I know, I'm waking up in the ambulance, and my ex-wife was crying, and I had been like twisting for I don't know 2.5 minutes. If I had been twisting for 5 minutes, I would have been dead. But yeah, I had a massive grand mal seizure, which I actually broke one of my vertebrae in my back, and my wife started to see nightmares about it, and just and then I came back to Finland and I had another one, but we still didn't want to believe that the small ones I get are seizures. But I chased that feeling that they are seizures, and then going to the private clinic and going to a private brain doctor. Finally, yes, they are seizures, and 10 years wrong diagnosis. But it's funny because but you tie into it all because through all that, you were there and you were kind of giving me a purpose because it was utter hell. It was I was going through these burning sensations again and again and again. And the one thing I could concentrate was making music. And sorry if I'm going on too long, but
No, no, go ahead, go ahead.
2013 when you sent me another message. I've been making videos, and we were in Georgia, and we had just been to a Vietnam memorial of all places, like a kind of a museum slash memorial somewhere near Macon, I think, or I don't remember what the place was, but north of Macon, I don't remember the place. But we were there, and then we came home, and you had sent me the message, and I started checking out your YouTube channel. And my God, I mean, like you had a lot of hits. I mean, like hundreds of thousands of views on those videos, and it just blew me away. I was like, wow, and
Wow.
it kind of
So
became,
wait. So
yeah,
wow. I don't. I'm sorry. My memory is so bad, but I definitely remember sending you a message, and
yeah, yeah.
you didn't respond to this message because
I
you were
responded to the message.
no. But the first message that I sent you, because you said
Yeah,
that it was at the
I
same
said
time
yes.
that you were experiencing these symptoms for the first time.
Yeah, you sent me a message that can I use the music, and I said, yeah, go ahead. And but then I kind of didn't pay attention for a couple of years. Like we
Yes.
were kind of living separate lives. You were doing you went to Vietnam. I understand. First time you went there, you didn't like it, and then you went there alone or something, and you loved it, and you started making videos. And
So I was using your music before I moved to Vietnam. So it was 2011, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay, so that was probably after because that was probably after because that's
yeah,
when the
yeah,
whole copyright thing and I found your music just searching on SoundClick, for
yeah, yeah,
royalty-free
yeah.
music. So you already made a few songs and you just posted on there for free for anybody to use, royalty-free.
I have I have made music since 2000, so yeah, I have made
I
already
see.
10
Right.
years of music. Yeah.
Right. And I really enjoyed some of your tracks and that's why I wrote you just out of courtesy, just wanted to let you know. I didn't have to,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
just felt like I wanted to let you know. And so, oh, okay, so I kept using it, you kept making it, but you didn't really check up until 2 years later.
Yeah, you sent me a message, and then it was like, wow. I was blown away.
I
And
sent you
at
another
that point,
message?
it was 2013, I think. 13, I'm pretty sure, yeah. And then I saw like you had hundreds of thousands of views of all on those videos, and basically, I mean, I had not had too many people listen to my music, and it was like really the first time I saw people listen to my music a lot, and I was taken away, and I was just in a depth of gratitude, and I started to make music for you. Then, from there on, I started to make it like almost every single week.
Yeah, so how that works is basically Auntie does whatever he wants, and then from time to time, if I have a specific video, I'll ask him like, "Hey, can you do more of an Asian song? Can you do more of a hip hop song? Can you do a hip hop Asian song?" And then you just make it, and sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't, but it's all out there. So even to this very day, anybody could just go and download your music and listen to it and all that too, right?
Yep, and like right today, I advertise on Reddit, and I let people know, and because I started making tracks for you, and I released them for free. Then I was like, okay, I'm gonna let others do it too, and I had a lot of other people use the music too. There was a Like I noticed on IMDb, there was somebody made a movie that was on Los Angeles, some festival or something, and it won some
Wow.
prize. And there's been like on games that have sold actually pretty good. And like game makers, there's this one guy, what's his name, Sam Hogan. I noticed he had some video just like half a year ago that had like 8 million views, and it's all because of you, because you used the music and you gave me that feeling that hey, people can use my music, and it it's it really has been like other than the marriage that I had with my wife, the only kind of a bright spot to this all, like kind of a really given me a purpose, which is silly because I love music. When I grew up, I always, like I used to listen to music a lot, and love musicians, love music, but I never saw myself as the greatest musician, but it's been an honor to make the music for you and the people who have used it. And really, really has been something I did not expect. And you have a big part to play. I have to thank you for that. It's a
No, 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 Auntie. The gratitude is really on my behalf and on everyone's who've seen these videos over the last few years. I truly feel again without you, some of these videos, most of these videos wouldn't be as they are. Your flexibility has helped me out so much. For example, when I went to India and I mentioned it to you, can you help me with some Indian sounding tunes? And you did. And I remember a moment when I went to India for the first time because I had a friend from university who was getting married, and of course I wouldn't miss it. So he actually had me edit a quick video. I filmed some reactions of the crowd, of the wedding guests, and we made a quick video, and it was played with your music to 1,000 Indian people. And I remember in that moment thinking, I'm so appreciative of Anti's flexibility and his willingness to help me because that song was perfect and so many other songs just fit so well. And so thank you for that. You've always been there. And again, I'm sorry we haven't met, but hopefully you'll get this brain surgery, you'll be good, and one day we can definitely meet. Mm, but I think a lot of people, again, on their behalf as well, thank you for just helping me, really. I For me, this YouTube journey has been quite lonely in terms of the production. I think people see the side of me where I'm traveling with people, with girls, with old boy, yet they don't see the behind the scenes, the long, long nights sitting at the computer, no sleep sometimes, editing a video for, I don't know, 14, 16 hours a day, just being glued to it. And you were there, so you understood what I went through. And so I feel like thank you. That's that's all. Just um I think it worked out for us, both in that sense. Like you said, you needed somebody um to kind of help you, you know, through this, and throughout the YouTube periods, and when I was making more content. And I remember you telling me, yeah, thank you for giving me a purpose. And I didn't really understand that too much until now. Um,
And
but
it's like if I went to the particulars of it, like I've had a pretty torturous experience these past 10 years, and there's been very few highlights. And making the music, it's been kind of a dopamine kick, seeing always, like you released your things, and when others use the music too, it's how it feels, you make a video and people like it, it's a great feeling. And without you, that would have never happened. So I mean,
yeah,
and I like
sometimes
to
I'll
talk.
sometimes I'll watch other videos randomly. I was on
Yeah,
a skincare channel. I was
yeah,
on another like Vietnamese going around the city channel, and they were playing your music. And I'm like, wait a minute, I know that. I know that style.
yeah,
So I would comment like, "Hey, Enti,
yeah, yeah.
your brain surgery coming up, right? What's the success rate, or what are you expecting from it?"
On a positive side, I was just on Twitter, and I came by a tweet. There was some guy who had 95% of his brain missing, and he was still functioning. So there's a chance I'll function. But honestly, I've had all sorts of estimates, and they say that 75 to 80% I'm not going to have any more seizures. Okay, that would be great. But then if we are going to remove a part of my brain that deals with emotions, how is that going to work with music and other things? It's a very complicated thing. It's a very complicated thing, but I hear the brain surgeons in Finland are the best in the world when it comes to brain surgeries. So I'm thankful for that. Like, and I hope they're gonna do. Supposedly there should be no risk of dying. I actually have a risk of dying all the time because of epilepsy. Like epileptics have this thing we can die at any time. But if I would no longer have seizures, who knows? It's a scary prospect, but who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But it's scary to live with epilepsy too. I have some very, very weird stories that I know people don't want to hear, but it's a very scary thing to live with. It isn't. And I understand why my wife left me. I was emotionally, I, I couldn't handle jealousy. And I had some um, sadly rage issues, which were also because of the epilepsy medication. But it's
So,
something. It's something. But we'll
so
see
was
how it
the
goes.
yeah, very sorry to hear this. But the epilepsy medication, it didn't prevent all the epilepsies. Like, what happens? Like
No,
how often do you get these seizures?
I had two last week, and then actually last weekend was pretty bad. And the reason why it was bad, you are gonna laugh, but I was kind of getting emotional about the whole thing happening in America, the political thing, and I was getting a little bit angry. And after that, I couldn't sleep, and when I can't sleep, then I get seizures, and it's kind of it's this cycle. And what I have to do, I have to relax. And it's like the SpongeBob SquarePants. If I don't know if you ever watched the cartoon, but it has like SpongeBob says something like, "You have to relax," and you're like, "You have to relax," like I hate relaxing. I would love to stress. I would love to work hard, run hard. Doctors of psychiatry who would, pull the whole Rankin. They would say that, "Hey, I've been doing this for 40 years and I've never had a patient like you." Well, turns out, yeah, I wasn't like any of their patients. I had a very unique thing, that they could not understand, but pride, like a lot of doctors have pride and they,
Good luck. I
thank
I
you.
hope it all goes well because it seems like a very serious thing to remove a piece of your brain.
Yeah. And I had a brain surgeon tell me last spring that, yeah, we have to make really sure before we start putting a knife in there that it's actually the cause of your epilepsy. And yeah, we had all sorts of like things we were looking into it. And then the corona, it's delaying everything. But one thing, people, if you're watching this, be careful with Corona because I've been getting a lot of reports, even from my friends, that their friends have had a Corona, and what happens? They get aneurysms. And that's part of the reason why my surgery is delayed, is because there are people who have Corona and they get aneurysm as an after disease. And what happens? Well, they take my place at the hospital because they have to be immediately they have to have immediate brain surgery. So that's yet another reason why it's delayed. So it's a corona is a very very serious thing. And another thing, yes, my thing started with the long flu, and yeah, I've been thinking could it have had something to do with the carinoma back then because I did have a flu that lasted for half a year.
So, with the constant threat of seizures, what's your daily life like?
I can't stress about anything. Like really, like like part of the reason why my wife left me, no doubt, is that I used to be very, like I would drink coffee. This actually was a herbal tea. Uh, but I was up at all hours. I had no problem sleeping, playing, gaming, watching all sorts of movies. But I had to like start to live like this. I had to like my life has to be super calm, kind of like very Buddhist. I can't watch anything too triggering. And if I start to get too triggered, like even this discussion, I imagine I'm gonna have a hard time sleeping tonight.
I'm sorry.
But I have to try to stay super calm all the time, and I can't get upset. And if I get upset, I start to get seizures. I have to do everything I can that I sleep well at night. And sadly, it must have been really hard for my wife because she's young and she's 10 years younger than me and ex-wife. And suddenly we were living like old people, and that's what happened. Like I had to start avoiding all stressful things. And you know what? Stress is fun. It's fun to stress. It's fun to go out there and do something in the middle of the night. But no, I have to be trying to sleep, and getting seizures at night sometimes. And it's a very particular, very unique disease I have. And but yeah, I usually I like if I have a good night of sleep, often in the morning I make a piece or something in a few hours. And but I don't aspire for greatness because like I know that if I would start to worry, even this discussion a little bit, I knew we are going to have this. I noticed, in the middle of the night, I started to have thoughts, what should we talk about? And I can't do that. And I can't explain it to people at the welfare office because they're not welfare office, but unemployment office because they don't believe it. It's like, what, you're having seizures? Even when they have black and white on a paper, it's like, so, but that's how it is. That's
So
how
you
it is.
cannot
It's a very
work. So you can't work. You can't. How about family and friends and stuff like that? You know,
truthfully, like even when you're saying that you would like to come here, uh, I'm thinking, okay, if you were here, what if you like, could I deal with it? Like, would it be stressful? Like last summer, I had my childhood friend. He had a horse farm, and it wasn't last summer, the summer before. And I was there at the horse farm, and I tried to sleep, and I would sleep horribly, like just absolutely horribly. And the only reason was that I was trying to be a little bit in his schedule, and I couldn't. And I was getting seizures, and it's like a prison sentence. I have to live a life of 90-year-old person. Like truthfully, I have 80-year-old parents, and they are more active than I am. They are able to stress more. My father is 80 years old. He's a building engineer. He's working still. In many ways, my father is in better shape than I am. Sure, I'm physically in great shape, but the fact that I can't stress it's a very hard thing. But I hope that after the surgery I could stress, and who knows, but I loved making the music. It gives me a purpose, but I know it's not the greatest music. And if I did music the way you'd make videos, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do what you do. Like I couldn't do it on that high level. And I think that's the reason why a lot of musicians burn out and they quit because they want to do it that way. They want to hit that high level. They want to make masterpieces. And if they don't make masterpieces, they quit. And
thank
but
you,
I
but
can't do it.
I don't think my my content is that high level. I think it's polished, but I don't think it's that professional or high level. Maybe a couple, but for
In
somebody,
Finland,
yeah. But
in Finland, you would be one of the biggest YouTubers there is. Like if you would compare numbers.
I should move to Finland then, and be a YouTuber in Finland.
I mean, the Vietnamese community, like they would probably welcome you. And Finland is actually looking for skilled workers. I know you have your degree, and you have your cousin. And
I've been looking into it, but I haven't found the right opportunities. Definitely, Finland is looking for skilled workers. There was like a skilled workers program or something like that, but I think it's mostly
yeah, we do have that. Yeah.
I think it's like mostly for IT people and engineers and that kind of stuff. So I'm kind of in the wrong field, but I don't know. For me right now, it's just not about getting a job because it's I don't think it's hard to get a job with my credentials and my background and experience, etc., etc. Right? But I just want to be able to find a job that's fulfilling enough, flexible. I basically want everything, right? Makes a lot of money, and then I have to pick geographically where I want to be, right? And I haven't really decided. I keep saying I want to be in Europe. I want to be in Europe, but if I really sit down and think about it, is that the smartest idea? Should I just tough it out in LA for a couple of years, pay back my loans, so I can have a stronger footing because the loans is keeping me back.
Yeah.
It's on my mind all the time now. It's difficult. It really
That's
has.
the
And
that's the whole American way. They want you to be on the running like a hamster in a cage. You have a lot of debt, but if you make it, then you're gonna make a lot of money, a lot more money than here. But that's the American way.
so you just stay home all day, pretty much. That's what you're telling me, and you make music.
Pretty much. I make music. I try bicycle. Like that's the one of the weirdest thing. I don't know why, but long bike trips. Uh, that's and before that it was walks. Like I used to run all the time. I used to drive bikes too, really, really hard. But like when I started to get a lot of seizures, 2016, I realized that if I was moving, I was walking, I would get less seizures. And it was the weirdest thing. Like I would literally go to Helsinki and I would walk around with my phone and I would listen to Spotify and take Instagram pictures. And I would walk 6 hours until my feet were like on fire. And I remember I used to say to my ex that, I hate this, but I had to do it. And like last year, I drove 6,000 kilometers on a bicycle. Why? Because it felt good. It felt good to be, driving the bike, and I don't know why, but I've been trying to talk with the doctors. Why is that? Like, is it something with the cavernoma that the blood flows around the dying brain cells or something? But I don't know why it is. But it's a like sometimes it kills me to be still. I can have a super bad anxiety, and I just have to go. And but biking is something I've done most of my life. There's actually a funny story. There was one of my old classmates. This was like 1991, 1992 or something like that. I remember, I had a kind of crush on her, and she was driving a bike. I drove by with a car, and then I made a circle and went another time by her. And after that, I decided I'm gonna start biking too. And actually, that's when I started biking. After that, and also I had to go to army, so I had to get into shape, so I started biking, and biking has been a huge part of my life. Like I drive road bikes, which isn't very smart when you think that you can have a grand mal seizure and die. But I tried to stop, but I stopped for like 1 month, and then I just started biking again. After my first grand mal, it felt like I had a bomb stuck to my head. But I'm used to super high fear. Like I have lived with the fear of dying from 2011. Because 2011, it was already so bad. I said goodbye to my little brother. I said goodbye to my friends. I said, I love you guys, and I probably am not going to make it. And I lived with the feeling that I could die now soon for 10 years. And after the grand mal seizures, yeah, I mean, it flooded me once again. But fate, like my ex was a Christian, and fate has been maybe the where I, draw most from. And I don't want to talk about it too much, but I had some person in my life, and if you know who the person is, you don't have to name the person, but there were some prophecies, and it turned me into a Christian. And faith really has been the one thing. And like when you're alone, when you have absolutely nothing else, well, God is something you can turn to. And I'm not going to preach, but without faith, I think I would be dead. Just because when your brain is doing something really weird in the middle of the night, and even when I was with my ex and I was laying right next to her, I've had hallucinations. I've heard voices. The way it scares you is off the scales, and they say that like in the cancer world, there's no atheists, and that's the one thing I've been able to turn to. God. I mean, and I know that some people say that religion is opium for the masses and whatever, but in my case, like really, it was the prophecies that brought me into it. But yeah, like I said to one of my nurses, I said that, well, I have a higher need to believe, I guess, too. I asked from her if she believes, and she said no. But yeah, faith has been the cornerstone.
How do you pass boredom? How do you stay home and what do you keep yourself busy doing that? For example, if you just watch Netflix and there could be a stressful scene in a show, so you have to be very careful about what you watch.
Yeah, yeah.
How
And
do you
actually,
pass the time?
like I was watching Mandalorian, I have to skip all the laser fight scenes, and basically, I am a pretty dull person. I am, and smaller things because like I have barely do anything these days. Smaller things can give me a lot of pleasure. Like just aesthetic pleasure. Like I take pictures or I enjoy. I was driving a bike, and I enjoy little things. It's like I don't necessarily. I don't need that much. When I was younger, like. I needed my dopamine rush, I needed to do the thing, and that's, most people in society, that's how we are, like we need the massive amount of dopamine, from different things, this, that, and we have to stay busy. And it feels alive to a point where we become numb. But when you kind of give up all that, you become more sensitive, you just enjoy smaller things. And at the same time, yeah, I mean, I would not like to be this way, sir. I mean, like, if you had asked from me when I was 35, if you had told me what is going to happen when I was 35 and I was in the best shape of my life, where I am 10 years from then, I would have said to myself, kill yourself. But the thing is that, like, it's the same thing like when you grow old, when you have these things taken away from you little by little by little by little. And the thing that lures is there, well, you can live. The will to live is strong, and even when you have to keep on sacrificing and life seems to become smaller and smaller and smaller, life is beautiful, and it's the like, I know that you're young and you're dreaming of money and all that, but like I was actually, I do some dumb things sometimes. I was on an online casino, and I was playing a game with a jackpot of $11 million, and I realized that, well, I could win $11 million, but you know what? I'm still gonna have the brain surgery. The money would not change that, and I might die. The money would not change that.
So when are you gonna get the surgery? Do you know?
It like I got the paper. It was like in October that I'm officially online, and at some point, I was told it was supposed to be 2, 3 months from that date. But then when I was checking more into it, then they were saying 4 to 6 months. But at the same time, like, I had my main neurologist who said to me that because of the COVID situation, it could take longer, But
Well, please let me know before you you take it, and
yeah,
yeah, and I'm sure a lot of people after hearing this would be curious, and let them support you and in this, and maybe send some positive energy your way, some good vibes towards your way, and
and if people want, like, I've had this thing, like, when I make free music, like I said to people, if they want to donate or something, if they could give money to like epilepsy foundation, or like if they even have something like Cavernoma, some kind of foundation somewhere or something, like, if you can give money to those people, because I have the deepest sympathies for everybody who struggles with this. There's children with epilepsy and all that, and I can't imagine. At least I got this when I was 35 years old. I can't imagine if you're younger. So please donate to Epilepsy Foundation if you're in America, or if you're in whatever country. Like, every country has their own usually. And my God, like, if the, like, in third world countries, if people could do something for them, because the thing is, I am lucky. I would be absolutely in a deep poop if I wasn't in Finland, because, like, I have this one epilepsy medication that has made my life easier in the last year. It's called Vimpat, and in America, without insurance, it costs $1,000 a month.
yeah.
How is a person in a third world country going to have that? You are not going to have that. And the cheap medications, they were horrible. They were absolutely, like, they made my natrium levels, salt levels, go really low, and my memory was going, it was becoming really, really bad. At one point, I was seeing like crystals in the middle of my vision, and it was just absolutely horrible experience. And basically, my divorce was because when my salt levels went down, I was close to psychotic, like, I couldn't control my emotions. My memory was absolutely, it was so bad. My memory was so bad that we were actually talking about removing half of my hippocampus, which is part of the brain that stores memories. And only because, like, my memory has started to get better with the new medicine, we are probably not going to do that. But I was actually afraid a little bit that I could become like the famous man who they removed his hippocampus, and he could not remember yesterday. He was stuck in a day. And I actually said to my neuropsychologist, I said that could I become like that guy? And then she was like, well, we were only talking about taking half of it because we know about that guy, so we know that we should not do that. But I mean, like, yeah, it's been unreal the things I've had to hear from, and it is weird to be that is this really me? Is this really me? You know. But like I was on a, I know you don't like TikTok, but like I was on TikTok and there were a couple of people, like, and I think they were genuine. Like there were people, like they make this funny thing like ding, ding, ding. I was diagnosed with cancer, and a lot of people get it happens to people. It's a unreal feeling when you get something like that. It's just
Well, I appreciate you sharing your story and letting
yeah.
everybody know like this. So it takes a lot of courage and to do that. But I'm definitely rooting for you, Antti. I hope everything turns out better and well, and your surgery will give you a new life.
Thank you,
Um,
and I hope that
yeah,
you get your team, and so Vietnamese business guys, whoever, this guy, help him. Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna need a little bit more than that, but I know that the next time you ask me how I am, I'm not gonna complain about my life anymore. 'Cause, um, yeah,
But it's a funny thing. You can have people who have these tremendous problems, and yes, like I read Reddit a lot because I have a lot of time. So I read like Reddit Lonely and other places like that. You can't say that people with smaller problems that their problems aren't real. They are absolutely real. It's a I had a lot of bad times before I got sick, and they were truthfully they were. It's a funny thing. It's a funny thing how it is. Like you can be very very sick, and you can sometimes be happier than even when you're healthy. And you know it's a funny thing. It's a funny thing. Like and sometimes we just make our problems. We concentrate on them so hard. We just somehow we make them into these huge deals. And like when you are younger, I understand that young people you have dreams about future, yeah, and you want to become something huge, and it creates its own stresses, and if you're feeling like it's not happening, but I guess here's the thing: when you know that you might die, all that goes away. It's like when you know that you could die, you have a something good, you it tastes good, you enjoy it, and you realize that it's good, and you might not have it in the future, so if you enjoy something, hey, it's a blessing, and the will to live, it's strong, and you're thankful. You learn to be thankful when you realize that you could die. Yeah. But when you think that you have all these years coming and you're thinking that you are losing, and you're keeping this count how late you are in your plans, and it's that whole thing that twists your mind and makes you suffer a lot.
well, I know it's getting late over there.
Yeah.
Thank you for spending time with me and with us, and um, thank you for everything, from the friendship to the music to being open and vulnerable, and I just wish nothing but the best for you. And even though it might be stressful, but I still want to meet you sooner than later. Um,
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
maybe it's gonna happen,
we'll
at
meet at
some
Burger
point
King or something.
in
we
Helsinki.
actually planned that. Actually, we yeah, but
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
yeah,
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a funny thing. Funny thing. I had a plan. We had a like a my dad had rented a car, not because you were coming, but it was like the first self-driving car or something like that. And I was planning I'm gonna come pick you up with that, and it was like over some fancy Volvo, and well, that didn't happen. But who knows?
Yeah, who
Maybe
knows
in
in
the
the future? Yeah, who knows? I mean, the hard part was connecting virtually. I mean, how did a guy from Southern California meet a guy from Vantaa, in Finland like that? I mean, even before you, I don't think I knew what Finland was, to
yeah,
be
yeah.
honest. Yeah,
But that's
but
life. That's life.
yeah,
It
that's
dies.
life.
It dies.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah, that's life.
yeah.
But yeah, thank you again, and I'm gonna let you go. And thank you everybody
Okay.
for watching. If you want, please follow Antiluode on social media. Your Instagram is open, and of course, check out his music page. I'll link everything down below. Any last thoughts? Any words of advice? I
But
mean, you've given us so much already, but last thoughts?
sorry, sorry for the bad songs.
No, 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 not
Yeah.
at all. All right. Well, good night, Auntie, and thank you again. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll see you. I'll see you
Okay.
soon.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Take care. Good night.